Guys, welcome to the LEOS podcast. I'm sat here with Chanel Ali, self-made property entrepreneur with years and years of experience in the London markets with your own estate agency. Chanel, introduce yourself and be keen to hear your story and how what's led you to Dubai.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you. Very nice introduction. And thank you for having me today.
Of course.
It's 2024 and we're both sitting here, both from North London. So quite a long story. I was brought up on a building site. My dad was just a builder by trade, born and bred originally from Tottenham, and don't support Tottenham though. Sorry about that.
So you're a Gooner?
I am. I'm the other one. Yeah, the Red Army one, I'm afraid. And then I did a law degree. Didn't like it. I felt like it's not for me at all. But it helped with a lot of things. I started working in retail from the age of 12. So that was, I think, really good for people skills. For me, went into the education, the law, because everyone wanted to be a solicitor. What I did, that was my dream from like the age of 5. And then I got into like 2 years in, I was like, this is not for me. The books were just too much, piled up to the roof every day, reading. I was like, no, I'm a talker, I'm a seller. Walked into an estate agency in South London. I was like, can I have a lettings job? They were like, yeah, no problem. I was smashing it within like a month. Found a shop in Palmer's Green. I hustled a 9-month rent-free period. And I got the whole building. So I had a little bit of rent coming in to cover my rent. And that was it, door knocking in 2008. And yeah, I've just sold the business to one of London's leading estate agencies. And 2.5 years ago, I bought in Dubai. I saw the value in it. And I was like, that's the place to be. I need to get myself over there.
Understood.
Yeah.
So you've obviously worked many years in the UK market and obviously establishing yourself and getting stuck in Dubai. What do you think the main difference is between the residential market in the UK and obviously how the market is over here?
Okay, so there is a massive difference at the moment. UK, obviously, I've been doing it for a long time. So at the moment, the residential market, as in, I've got a fly on my lip, hello. So listen, the residential market in UK is extremely slow, okay? So since Brexit, it has slowed the country down on a massive scale. So we're recovering from Brexit, then we're recovering from COVID, recovering from furlough, then you've got inflation and interest rates. All of that is what Dubai don't have, okay? So at the end of the day, all of them factors was a massive hindrance on the UK property market. I'm a developer myself. Obviously, you see all the stories on Instagram, like everyone who's a property developer is like absolutely minted and driving around in these flashy cars. But I'm an old school developer, so I feel like the older generation that's been doing it for like 15 years plus, they're not jumping up and down. Because for us, the yields were a lot higher back in the day. The interest was a lot lower. So I get the younger generation now, they're coming and smashing it and amazing stuff they're doing in England. Okay, I'm not going to fault them. A lot of people going up north now, which again, I was just taught to buy in London. So that's where I saw a massive difference. I'll be honest, COVID was good, really good. And then I think after the COVID, as in for the property, COVID was not good at all. For the property market, COVID was fantastic. My agency grew 25% in COVID.
Yeah.
So business-wise, it was good for me. Obviously, the builders smashed it as well because they put their prices up, and even like the workers, like everyone's rates went up. So that was really good for the UK market. But since then, it's downhill, and elections July 4th, that ain't going to be any good either. So we're looking at a downhill spiral, I think, I'm afraid. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
It's funny, you mentioned, you talk about, realtors and brokers out in Dubai and they're driving around in their fancy cars, and it's, it seems it's obviously a very lucrative business, compared to the UK.
No, I think developers in London are driving around in fancy cars.
No, I'm talking about the brokers in Dubai.
What do you think?
Compared to the estate agents, as we call them in the UK, the difference is crazy, isn't it?
Well, right. Do you really want me to go into the reality of this?
I'd love to,
because
yeah.
I'm so brutal.
Do it.
Probably the most honest agent you ever find in Dubai, especially. I think UK is different. Okay, obviously the brokers, estate agents get paid on a salary basis. Here they don't. So it's dog eat dog, I'm afraid. I don't work like that, and I'm gonna hold my morals. No offense, I've been doing this very long time. I'm not gonna disrespect anyone for a bit of money. That's not how I was raised. So I guess it makes a lot of UK people very different, I think, to other brokers, because a lot of brokers here have come with no experience. They're getting lucky. Even taxi drivers can sell a property these days in Dubai, you know. So anyone can be a broker. I believe there's 50,000 brokers registered in the UAE. So there's loads. No offense, there's probably loads of us. Do you know what I mean? Trying to do what we're going to do at the end of the day. So it just is about who can connect with people, and at the end of the day, they need to trust you.
Sure.
They're going to trust someone probably from a UK background that's got a very long experience in property than someone who's just come from somewhere. Girls do really well here, but they don't really know a lot still about property. And I find a lot of the brokers that are doing well, they've only probably been doing brokering for 2 to 5 years.
For sure.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, people in the UK, they may watch all the Instagram reels and see brokers doing really well, and they may even be watching this.
Yes.
For people who move over and, you know, have big dreams of making it in Dubai real estate, you know, how do you think, what do you think you need to succeed? And what do you think, how do you separate yourself? Because there's so many brokers, so many people chasing the dream.
Really
how do you make it in this crazy market?
That's a really good question, because I get so many people asking me on social media, I want to come over, I want to be an estate agent, I want to have your life, I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, it is so hard. Like, honestly, like, it's really, really tough. I've never worked so hard in my life, you know, and that's because obviously I'm not a quitter, I'm not going to give up. Yeah, I'm getting the sales, obviously, like I wouldn't be here if I wasn't getting the sales, but it takes a long time honestly, it takes, I would say, 2 years to smash it over here, and that's someone on my level. Okay, so if you're coming in, you need to expect the worst. Like, you could have 6 months with no income, and you really need the right guidance. Be careful who you work with, because, like I said, dog eat dog. Who's going to really help you out? And unless they see value in you, then they're not going to really want to work with you, because at the end of the day, you make them money. Yeah. So I think it's really important to be realistic and. Just don't think it's not easy at all.
For sure, for sure. I totally agree. Interesting, you mentioned that back in the UK, you have a background in property development yourself. You develop properties, you built out apartments and houses.
Yes.
I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on the difference in the quality of the product in the UK as opposed when you come over to Dubai. I'm sure you've seen the finished product in terms of craftsmanship.
Scary.
You know, actual quality of the units. What's your thoughts on that?
So I bought my first project with Imar, okay, and obviously everyone knows Imar, and I'm not going to talk about other developers, but. And the reason I did that as a UK tourist at the time was because everywhere I went, downtown Burj Khalifa, all you see is Imar, and they trick you into believing that's the kind of only way to invest, okay? And to be honest with you, everyone who bought Imar 5, 10 years ago, 15 years ago have killed it, right? But Imar know that, and what they've done is they're only introducing 100% payment plans, and their delivery time is 4 years. Now, a lot of my buyers, they don't want to wait 4 years. So what happened was, I was originally just focusing on Imar projects and communities that they build, and then I was like, but wait a minute, this ain't working anymore. So I had to study every developer in the UAE because I'm a consultant. So I had to consult on all my clients, and I've got loads of clients in UK, and they want to know what's hot, what's next. As I was doing that, I was really realising that the problems of the quality of the UAE, and I'm living in another big development, big developers, I'm not going to, again, say names, and it has brutal problems. Brutal problems. So when I was like urging to look for a UK developer, like, because I'm not dealing with any other UK developer, to be honest. So when I come to LEOS, I say LEOS. When I come to LEOS, I was very impressed because firstly, they're kind of from the same area as me. And secondly, I saw one of your videos on NHBC. And obviously everything we've done has been NHBC regulated. and in all my developments in England and my dad's developments. So NHBC is the highest regulated surveyors and insurance company. So when I saw the video that you guys were NHBC like registered and that's how your standards were, I ran here, to be honest with you, because for me, quality is key. And where we've been used to UK, we've got such high standards of living, and I don't want to sell someone a project that you've got people complaining all the time about the finish, because I'm a developer, so that's the last thing you want.
Of course. Look, you're a British broker. I'd imagine the majority of your clients are British themselves. You know, we're a British-born developer. You know, the first actual, sort of true British developer in Dubai. A large amount of our buyers are British as well. What I've found in my sort of experience in the market is the British buyers sometimes, they're a little bit more reluctant and hesitant in the market and who they trust. Do you think the British brand, whether it be being a British broker or developer, do you think it gives weight in instilling more trust in these clients, or do you think it helps?
That's a tricky one. I'll be honest with you. I think the problem with the UAE is that you are bombarded the second you get to Dubai as a tourist with hundreds of developers, okay? And unless you have the right consultant by your side, it's really tough because you don't know who to go with. And I don't think it's actually being British or being, like local or whatever developer. Because I deal with like loads of really good developers, but I think it's about really knowing what you want as a buyer and then understanding all the projects and then saying, okay, I want to, for example, go with a smaller developer, because some people, they want to go with the bigger developers, and then it's kind of listening to your consultant who you trust to say, do you know what, you could probably buy 2 units here instead of 1 unit here. And I feel like this will make you more money. And that's when I'll say, I know a really good UK developer, and then it's for them to make the decision. And I feel like you need to give people 2 or 3 options, but when they've got 20 options, there's a launch here every 48 hours, and people are getting, like, as soon as you register with one broker, you're on that broadcast list, and you're probably getting the same launch from 2 or 3 brokers at a time. So I think that's why UK people are quite resilient because of the options that they have.
For sure.
But the market is obviously speaks for itself.
For sure. So what's obviously, what's driving all this growth and investment in Dubai is the mass of people moving in and wanting to obviously live here. Being from, we're both from North London. I'm sure lots of people, who've moved over here, and it seems like everyone is now moving to Dubai, wants to live here. What do you think the main attractions, coming from the UK, living in the UK for, the majority of your life, what's the main attractions bringing people over to the city?
Okay. Yeah, everybody I know, every influencer, every massive big person, because it's coming here, massive investment funds, massive banks. DIFC is obviously UK law regulated. You've got the biggest companies in the world coming to the UAE. It's going to be the world's global hub of business because it's tax-free. Speaks for itself. Obviously, I've been a UK taxpayer my whole life, and it hurts, and UK, like I said, for the last 5 years hasn't been pretty, and people are absolutely depressed, and they're sick of it. And I weren't that bad, but I feel like the longer I'm here, the more like I just don't, I don't miss it one bit. So obviously I miss certain things. But, I went to Dubai Hills the other day, had a roast dinner, sat on the grass.
Was it as good as back home, though?
It was all right. I got bitten by a mosquito, so I felt right back at home sitting on the grass, and it was okay. Everyone was having a pint and sitting on the golf course. It was beautiful. So that's your Sunday. You're not going pub anymore. That's what you're doing here. But, yeah, there's everything. There's absolutely everything. There's nothing that you find yourself like you've got a new lease of life. You're very happy. You just need to make that money.
For sure. Well, let's talk about the actual investment landscape of Dubai in terms of locations, areas. Where do you see Dubai going? You've had, your traditional tourist hubs like Business Bay, downtown, Palm, Marina. In the last 5 years, you've had new communities emerging. JVC, JVT. These areas are becoming, increasingly popular.
Yeah, crazy.
Where do you see this going? Where do you think's next? What are you advising clients?
So obviously the 2 biggest infrastructure changes in the UAE is going to be Ras Al Khaimah, the Wynn Casino is coming, and obviously second to that will be the biggest airport in the world is coming.
Sure.
So watch out for those two hotspots. That's I'll be honest, they're the next 10-year plan for the UAE. The population is set to grow 30% in the next 10 years. I'm walking book of statistics, aren't I?
Yeah.
So yeah, the population is going to grow really high. So it's going to feed the demand of the developments. But I have very, very intensely looked at the last 5 years, and I've very intensely looked at the trends of the UAE and the luxury segment, Palm, Marina, downtown and Business Bay, the ROI is dropping quite fast. And the lower segment areas, Meydan, JVC, JVT, are hugely increasing.
Of course.
Okay, so it's kind of like you're going in like basic to UK, you're going out to like zone 3 and 4, and you're getting a high ROI, and that's what you're seeing that in Dubai now. So I've seen it in UK, so it's beautiful watching it actually develop in a new place.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in England like 15 years ago when everything was booming. Like the market's just growing and growing and growing. Yes, it's never going to keep growing. It's going to stabilize, but I feel like the next 5 years is going to be huge for Dubai.
For sure. I think a common misconception, especially with a lot of UK clients and people we deal with, is that property prices in Dubai are extremely high and unaffordable. Of course, we know that's not the case.
It is in those areas.
Of course,
it's a joke.
of course.
Right,
but where do you see prices in Dubai ever sort of matching mature markets like in the West, like the UK and America? Do you see over the next 10 years, whatever it may be, those sort of prices matching?
I feel like they're already there, to be honest. I feel like the UK market, the average property price in the UK now is £340,000, okay, which has gone up. So that's in the whole of the UK.
Yeah.
Now, the average one-bed price here is 1.2 million dirhams. So that's about £280,000. Okay, it's a one-bed, and that might be, probably like a two-bed. But it's definitely going to match very soon. And it's like I said, so zone 1, that you're going to have that downtown is going to be your leading area, Palms will be your leading area. But like I do, where I developed a lot in Tottenham, Edmonton, Enfield, so like the outskirts of London, and they've created me great yields. Yeah. So I highly recommend people not being scared, and instead of doing a little buy-to-let in UK,
of course,
just trying it over here. It's so easy.
Of course. I mean, look, if you're looking at it from the UK investors' perspective, if you've got a budget of, let's say, £250,000 to £300,000, what's really on offer? I mean, especially in London, or in terms of investment, you're not really getting anything. And then when you look at the yields, I mean, what's an average buy-to-let down south in the UK? 5.5%?
You're lucky to ever get it up to 7%, and in London, it's like 2 to 4%.
Exactly.
And
as opposed to Dubai, where, you're achieving 8% quite easily.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, in the lower key areas, I think you can achieve up to 14% very easy, like the JVCs, the JVTs, Meydan.
Would you say these are based off shorter-term rental models as opposed to...
So again, because of them areas are quite laid back in the UAE at the moment, they're not really equipped for Airbnb. But once the metro goes in, obviously you've got the blue line, the yellow line going all the way down to Dubai Creek. Once that's in 2027, it's going to ease the traffic situation in Dubai, and that will ease people wanting to do them areas on Airbnb as well. But the demand's so high for rental that I feel like, listen, I'll be honest with you, the rent is crazy in Business Bay and downtown. It's crazy. So people have to live in outskirts now, but it's still great yields. It's 14%, so it's no-brainers.
For sure. And do you think it's that affordability of areas like JVC and other areas that's driving these firstly higher yields and being such an investment hotspot? It's
an investment hotspot at the moment, and the reason that is because everyone wants to move over here. People like you are coming a lot younger, obviously of a younger generation in the early 20s, and the mistake that people make is they come to Dubai and they want to live the high life straight away. I highly recommend don't do that.
Put your head down for 12 months.
Get in a studio, get in a room, flat share, put your head down, save your money, then get your nice car.
Yeah.
You know, car, forget it. Like, it's a joke. Like, buy stuff like that, and you're not going to hit the ground running. You know, you need a year to fix yourself up and sort yourself out. So you have to go to JVC and JVT. You've got no choice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's nowhere else to live, realistically.
I feel like
it's nice.
This is a misconception, and it's quite easily for young people aspiring for that life to crash and burn when they get here.
Yeah, and I see so many people going back after 3 to 6 months, like, spent all my money, I wish I listened to you. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, but you can come on my mentoring program. Anyone who wants to come to Dubai to work, I'm doing like a program where I can help them ease into the market and teach them a little bit before they come here. So they're not, people come here, don't even know where Marina is or what's the ROI or what's the statistics. You know, some people don't even know about off-plan and secondary market.
For sure. Okay, so when you're looking for one of your clients, you're an advising a client, and you know you've sold them the idea of JVC as a fantastic, you know, hotspot of investment, high ROI, good yields. You've got a lot of buildings, a lot of options, particularly off plan. You know, how do you direct them to the best sort of option? Whether it be, do you look for quality or payment plan? You know, how would you advise in terms of making your choice in that community?
So I would obviously, firstly is money. So I asked them, you know, how much can you afford to put down? Again, I'm seeing these brokers, they're trying to sell like £1 million flat when their budget's like 250.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've lost your client. Like, come on now. So budget, first of all, and then we go to what you can get within that budget. For example, back in the day, I would have loved to sell like a Dorchester unit because they're made really killing. And they've trebled their money. But now, I'd rather sell you a floor in a cheaper area and buy 10 one-bed flats, and your ROI is 14% on each of them, and you can flip them as well very easy. So that's what I look at, making my client money, but I'm in it for the long term. I can't sell no one a shit project. That's not going to make you money, yes? And that's going to be a terrible quality that I'm not going to be able to flip. So there's certain developers I won't even touch.
Yeah. I think when LEOS in particular, when we looked at JVC as an area, I think we found that the majority of the stock was sort of low to middle range of quality. And I think that's what, you know, with our first project, Hadley, that's what we try to do, you know, to bring, you know, a British standards, a high quality product in a great investment area that stands out. You know, renters are going to want to rent there, and, you know, mortgage buyers are going to want to buy, you know, the resale units. So what's your thoughts on that?
Amazing. JVC is very built up now. So and the problem is it was built up like 10 years ago. It was probably one of the first areas back in the day, and now it's really booming. But the demand is becoming high, but there's not a lot of land left. So where the newer developers like yourself are coming in with a lot better quality, because 10 years ago no one was building quality there, let's be honest. Not a lot of people in Dubai were building quality 10 years ago. So now the quality is changing, and it's becoming like a little bit more of a luxury vibe. You got the first edition hotel. I went there the other day, it was so nice. I was like, oh my god, this is really nice. So, you know, you got the mall, but there's going to be other areas that people need to watch out for. Like Meydan is massive. It's such a lot of land in Meydan as well. You need to basically be very quick to get into JVC and JVT now. For sure. And we talk about, you know, upcoming areas. We've obviously, you know, we've got projects in Dubai land. This is obviously an up and coming area. What's your thoughts on that side of Dubai in terms of it expanding outwards? Do you see the long term growth in these sort of areas? What's your thoughts there? I definitely do, but I would say you need to give yourself time. Yeah, that's one thing. Don't think that the world is changing. Okay, we don't know what's going to go. Obviously, there's no place safer than the Middle East at the moment. There's war everywhere, but here at the moment, but Dubai. So even Saudi, you know, everyone's like, go Saudi, go here, but it needs 10 years, you know. So for young investors like our age or people that just want to dip their toe into the market, unless you've got loads of money, I'll say, okay, dip somewhere very small that's already kind of established. If you are happy to make a killing in 10 years, go to them other areas. But like I said, you need to wait for that appreciation. Yeah. You mentioned Saudi. Do you think Saudi will ever get on sort of Dubai's level in terms of tourism, investment, hotspot? No. Definitely not. No. It has the money, obviously, but that's obviously like probably like more oil-driven based. Yeah. And it will get there one day, but Dubai's just so far gone with that, you know. But it's going to be a place to make money, of course. But again, it needs a lot of time.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's go back to you. So
Okay.
you know, you've proven your sort of yourself in the London market. You've moved over to Dubai. Do you think you have an edge having that real estate background in the UK compared to other people?
It's very different. Honestly, it's very, very different.
What do you think? What do you think the main differences are?
People.
The people you deal with.
Yeah, I've noticed just that obviously you're going into a new country, a new system. When you're used to a UK legal system, and you're coming here and you're like you have to adapt to the difference in culture a little bit. But you know, I'm just going to keep being me and authentic, and that's all that I care about, really, to be honest with you. But there is a difference, and I think people, like I say, they have to trust in you, and I have that. So I have that really good reputation, and it really helps. Listen, Dubai's a small place.
Yeah.
One mistake and you're gone. And not just that, like, it's such a strict place as well. It can be a strict place. They're really easing up with that. But at the same time, you make one mistake, you don't pay a bill, you know, it's very easy to also get in trouble. So everyone's on their best behaviour, and that's what I like. You know, that's what I really like. It's a place where your money's safe. So if you're putting a project in, the developer has to put 40% down into an escrow account. And the good thing about Dubai, as a broker, you kind of see the people that chat loads of poo quite quickly.
Yeah.
So if you're showing them a project and then they go ghost straight away, you know they're not interested. Whereas UK, you could be on your buyer for 3 months and a sale could collapse. Here, you can buy a property in 24 hours. I love it. You could, one second, you know. So you give your passport, pay the deposit, that property is yours. The SPA gets sent over to UK, sign it with a FedEx delivery, gets sent back to the... And it's just, that's what I love, the quickness and speed.
I was going to say, it must be refreshing. We both, you know, worked in the residential markets in the UK, where it's, you know, it's high tax, low commission, transactions take forever with lawyers and everything else involved. It must have been, it's refreshing to come over here where, you know, there's so little barriers to buying property and the swiftness for brokers it's a massitive change, isn't it?
And for buyers.
Of course.
You know, there's no due diligence. They just ask for your passport, your email address, and that house is yours. I saw an article the other day about someone in prison buying a property in Dubai. I was dying.
It's an interesting point. Do you see this? Do you see this changing? Do you see this tightening up and getting stricter in Dubai with regards to legislation, with regards to this sort of thing?
They're very easy. It's too easy at the moment. Yeah. I do see them in the long run. I think they're making it easy because they're obviously their aim. Dubai is a business, and their aim is to grow this business 30% ROI, the whole country. Yeah. So how are they going to do that? They're going to create a casino. They're going to create amazing things with amazing people. Sure. The most beautiful people in the world are here. The most richest people in the world are here. UK and US is down at the moment. So everyone is coming here from them places, and we're here for it. So
for sure,
it's
and
good.
I'm sure your friends and people see, you know, your life you're living out in Dubai, and they want that for themselves, don't they?
Yeah. No, listen. I don't know. Did you find it challenging? Have you adapted?
I love it's the business is what attracts me over in Dubai. The ease of business, and also, you know, you get rewarded for your efforts in Dubai, whether it's in other countries, specifically London. You know, you don't necessarily see the fruits of your hard work so much, do you?
I don't know. I think it's different. I think, to be honest, here, it just takes time to be rewarded. I think UK is quite, as in, you know, UK is a great place to start, okay? Like, my family were refugees. So at the end of the day, they've done amazing. Not my mum and dad, but my grandparents were refugees into UK. I'm Turkish Cypriot. So from where they would have been if they stayed in Cyprus to go into the UK, and that's why the UK has done so well, because it's let in a lot of immigrants. Them immigrants now are feeding the economy, you know? And that's kind of what Dubai is doing on a much bigger scale. So that's the fascinating part about it. You're like, you look up, you're like, oh, I love it here. You know, it's so nice. But at the same time, people with families back home, they don't want to move here. And you can't blame people. So I would definitely recommend invest here. and live in Dubai. Once you see the fruition of your investments coming in, obviously, when you get an investment, you get a visa, you get a bank account, keep the money in your UAE account, flip some projects, make some big money, buy a beautiful holiday home, come and go as you please, and you're done. You know, have your home in England, have your home in the UAE,
Sure.
and it's just an easy place to flip. It's an easy place to buy. It's an easy place to watch your money grow, and it's safe.
For sure.
It's safe. No one's coming. There's no tax man looking at your bank account. You know, your money is just there. It's very easy.
Sure. You mentioned coming and going and almost having Dubai as sort of your second home. What for the people in the UK watching this? What is the requirements when you move to Dubai? How long do you have to stay here? How easy is it to, as you say, come and go? How does that look to explain to the audience in the UK?
Yeah, it's very easy. So you got a 1 month tourist visa at a time. And then obviously you can keep extending that, so it's very easy. But if you buy a property, you get an investment visa quite quickly and easy as well. And then with that, you have to come here every 6 months, basically. So twice.
Just once every 6 months?
Basically once a year, yeah. That's all you have to do to keep your bank account going and your visa basically still intact. It's just easy like that.
For sure.
Your visa does take about 2 weeks, though.
Yeah.
To come through, so you'll need to prepare that time, and I say that to people. And also, if you wouldn't get a mortgage here, you have to be here at that point as well, so you need to put in that to accountability as well.
For sure. Obviously, you know, the tax incentives of Dubai speaks for itself, but you know, I think what else attracts, you know, a lot of people from the West is firstly the quality of life, the safety, you know, growing up in Palmer's Green and living in North London for your whole life. You know, I live 10 minutes down the road, so I know what it's like. What was the biggest change in culture, change in, you know, quality of life and lifestyle when you came over here?
I got attacked in Covent Garden about 8 years ago, and I was wearing a watch, and I bought it that day, and it was Eid, and I bought it for Eid. And I went out with my friends, and a tuk-tuk driver grabbed me in the car and dragged me down the alleyway and broke both of my collarbones and took my watch. And that was about 8 years ago. So I think after that, I weren't really scared anymore. You know, like the worst happened to me. So when I started, then and that was really upsetting for my mum and dad. You know, because they've brought their daughter up, their little girl up in a country that was safe, and they've come here and, like, you know, they've built UK up, and we've killed ourselves to get to where we've got to as a family, come from nothing. Me and my mum and dad have had loads of businesses in UK, pay so much tax, you know, and then to just go out and buy a watch and get your daughters in hospital overnight is disgusting. Luckily the police found him and he was put to justice and he was exported and whatever, though that made me feel a lot better. I didn't have any much trauma from it. I'm quite strong. But when you go to Harrods, and it was one thing that hit me like a couple of years ago, because I was going and coming when I was buying my property quite a bit, and I think I was here for a while, like 2 months at one point, and I went to Harrods and I got followed. I was getting through. It's called scooping.
Yeah.
And I was getting followed through Harrods, and then I come out and there was like a person on that corner, a person on that corner, a person behind me. And they weren't just scooping me, they were scooping everyone in Harrods. And I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, this is absolutely disgusting. And I wouldn't want to put my kid through what I went through, get that day when I got attacked, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, okay, don't wear a nice watch. This was 8 years ago where watching like thing was not a big thing compared to now. So that's what happened. So yeah, safety, number one is safety. And my door in Dubai is open 24 hours a day.
And you think that's a key factor that's attracting people from countries like London, the safety, especially to bring up a family.
Yeah,
it's
of course. Like my client come today in a Lambo, bright blue Lambo, you know, and he's like in his early 20s. And I was like, look at him, he's living like his best life. You can't do that in UK.
No.
You can't even go to the shop in a Lambo. You're going to get attacked. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you will. So that's unfortunately reality of it. You need to maybe go out. If you're living a low-key life with your family, cool. You want to live in Surrey, you want to live in Hadley Wood, Hampstead, but you need high security, you know, and if you don't care about all the flashy stuff and you don't want to look nice, and you know, that matters, but some people want to look nice. Obviously, social media plays a big part in that. So yeah. Safety. I remember we couldn't even post where we were at one point on Instagram, but people were getting followed from their Instagram stories. Here, it's just carefree.
obviously when you're looking at residential units in Dubai, you've got two options. You've got your apartment schemes, and you've obviously got villas and townhouses.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a big surge in investment in the villas, and it's become, I think, you know, a bit of a hot topic, and you know, everyone wants to get involved with a townhouse or a villa. You know, what's your thoughts on this sector of the market as opposed to the apartments?
Okay, touchy subject to me, villas and townhouses, because the problem was with villas and townhouses is there's none being built at the moment because, well, there's loads being built at the moment, sorry. But during COVID, none was being built.
Yeah.
There was no villa projects. So now anyone who's finishing is the first projects that finish it. So in 2024, there's no completions. The first completions are in 2025 with all developers, okay? So what that's done is create such a big demand for townhouses and villas that the prices have gone crazy for townhouses and villas. So if you can find a cheap townhouse, not cheap, but under market value, with maybe a smaller developer like LEOS, you know, buy it, because the big developers are... I can't get over how expensive villas and townhouses are at the moment.
For sure. And I think the quality on the townhouse and the villa side of the market, I have friends who live in a lot of large communities, and I feel like there's not a lot of unique villas and townhouses. Sometimes they can be sort of mirror
look the same.
Mirror
but you
images
kind of
of
get
each
used
other.
to that. You kind of get used to that, you know, like when you're in a community and you see hundreds of houses that all look the same. So I feel like a boutique development would actually probably do a little bit more now.
Something with more character.
Yeah, like a little bit of a boutique, you know, like a smaller project instead of... listen, like I'll compare it to Dubai Hills because a lot of English people know Dubai Hills. There's a lot of mansions and villas there, but God, like they were selling at 16 million dirhams. They're now like 40. You know, who's gonna pay 40 million dirhams for a villa? Like, it's crazy. And on top of it, they do all look the same. They're very mirror image of each other. So you can't really buy in communities like that now, villas and townhouses. So you have to look elsewhere. And I think it's very important to make money on it. And also, like I said, people want a holiday home and they want to go and come. But at the end of the day, if your average villa now is like £2 million, for example, and you can find a villa for like £1.5 million, you know, in 5 years' time, you're going to be absolutely laughing. Yeah, because at the end of the day, your average price is just average price per square foot is just going to keep going up. It's exactly the same as England. So, what I say now is try and go with a little bit of a cheap, more affordable model, and then watching the price go up instead of going to a really expensive model and then the price will be slower. But if you've got the money in the world, go to Benghazi, go to Palm, still do your thing because they're beautiful. You know, some people don't care; they want to buy ready. I really believe in off-plan in Dubai, so I would highly recommend everyone going to off-plan project instead of a secondary.
Yeah, let's talk about the floods a few weeks back, because I think a lot of developers have got found out in terms of the quality of the villas and townhouses. We all saw the flooding inside actual units. Do you think moving forward?
Yeah, the biggest developer. My friend sent me every house, and it was flooded inside the house. Like waters were pouring in the ceilings. That didn't go on social media.
Yeah. Preventing this and having, you know, sound buildings that are ready for something like this, do you think that that's almost going to be a selling point moving forward?
It has to be.
Yeah.
Cloud seeding is a thing here, and I get it. They have to create seasons, so they have to do it because they want to make UAE a yearly tourist hotspot and not just a seasonal tourist hotspot, because we're all going to move out here and we want to be able to breathe in June, July and August. And I'll be honest with you, we are in what month now? So we're end of May, and I am so comfortable with weather. Like normally back in the day, I remember years ago, by now you couldn't even breathe. Yeah. You know, so I feel like the seasons are changing, so you've got to expect like severe weather conditions with that. Yeah, they're not equipped for it, but who would have known that desert's going to have a flood? You know what I mean? I was stuck on the motorway for like 5 hours. Yeah. I haven't driven since then. I was driving everyone was driving up the motorway the wrong way. Yeah, and a lot of people suffered.
It had a massive impact on business as well.
Yeah, 2-3 days. Yeah, 2-3 days of business that was done. But that's, again, you're going to get that.
Of course.
Yeah, was LEOS not operating?
Pardon?
Was LEOS not operating in them 2 days? Was the office shut?
I think the office, I made it in. I did manage to make it in with the help of a Nissan Patrol, but the majority of the team didn't make it in. It was a quiet couple of days in the office.
Well, I held down a lovely person and they helped me. I was like, please bring me home. I've just got water up to my knees. I was like, please, my car's stuck. I was scared to drive, so I just abandoned the car. Yeah, so no, the floods are a thing and the weather is a thing over here. But I'll be honest with you, you kind of adapt. When you live out here, you're in AC, like in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, like we're not really tanned. So do we live out here?
It's awful, isn't it?
Because we're obviously too busy to. People think, oh, you know, you got a lifestyle,
Yeah.
but you're at a beach every day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, all right. I go to a beach maybe once a month
Yeah.
because I'm just so busy and obviously building a new career over here, learning all the projects. So yeah, it will be amazing for a developer to have them things safeguarded and obviously. So the British people are comfortable that, God forbid, is it something else ever happens, that they're safe, like how we are in UK.
Of course. Well, look, LEOS, we're a British developer. You know, where we established
Ready for
our
the
name,
rain.
it rains bloody every day. So
I know, it's really bad.
I think we'll be able to change that and
good.
come out with a product that's, you know, ready for those sort of events. But
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, Chanel, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your insights in moving over to Dubai. It's extremely interesting to hear, you know, your experience with it. Guys, if you want to buy a property, get in touch with Chanel, especially if it's a LEOS one.
Yes.
And yeah, look forward to having you back on.
Definitely. Thank you, Jack. It's been a
Sounds
pleasure.
good.
North
Sure.
London to North London.
Exactly.
It's been amazing. Thank you for having me.
Exactly.